In this video, I would like to tell you about the answer writing for the mains exam, especially paper GS2. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Akshita Gupta. I have secured All India rank 69 in UPSC 2020 exam. In this video, I would like to tell you about the answer writing for the mains exam, especially paper GS2. So if we see GS2 exam, there are various subparts of this exam. The first is polity, then second is governance, third is social justice, and fourth is international relations, that is IR. So in this video, I would like to tell you about the basics of the answer writing and how to approach these subjects in the answer writing program. So if we see of an answer, there is an intro, the body, and the conclusion. So for the intro, the best way of intro can be some definitions, examples, recent data, or any anecdote you want to share regarding the questions. Regarding the body part, you need to fulfill the demand of the question. So if there is different elements like discuss, so you need to present in such a way that there are both positives and negatives that are discussed. Then there is critically analyze. So in critically analyze, you have to analyze that statement in both ways. You have to present the positive of the statement and also you need to negate the statement and then give your opinion in the conclusion. Similarly, there can be many enumerate, elucidate, which you need to take care in mind while answering the questions. And in the conclusion, try to be futuristic in a hopeful manner. So you should give a positive way and positive way forward or a hopeful conclusion so that it seems you have a positive bent of mind. So right now coming to different subparts of the exam. There is polity first of all. There are some elements of the polity answer writing that you need to take care in mind. For example, you need to include constitution in the answer. Constitution can be brought up in the form of articles or fundamental rights or DPSPs or some basic elements of the constitutions like the basic feature which is given by the Supreme Court, federal structure. So these things can be bought from the constitution. So you need to write about this in the answer, especially if the question is directly from the static portion of the polity. And the basic feature of the constitution which is given by the Supreme Court, also the federal structure. So in this way, the constitution can be brought up into the answer writing. For example, there is a question on the president or the governor, the differences in the president and governor and how they are different in the constitution. So you need to mention the basic articles and you can refer to the basic feature of the constitution, that is the executive structure and the elements that are associated with them. So in this way, it will enhance your answer and it will give the polity outlook to your answer. Similarly, you can write recommendations in the polity answers. For example, there are recommendations by various committees. There are recommendations by various reports about the futuristic. For example, there can be second ARC. There can be some recommendations by the Ashok committee or Balwant Rai committee in the Panchayati Raj institutions. So those recommendations can be brought up into the answer writing. Then in the polity answers, you can go forward by making some diagrams. For example, in the polity answers, you can write like this issues, and then you can write this, make this diagram. So you can write issues in this way. In this way, you can cover so many issues, and you need not to explain each and everything, and you can just enumerate them in this way. Another way of making flowcharts can be this. For example, there is a topic, and then you can make flowchart like this. In this way, you can enumerate them and it will give a good presentation to your answer. The second part of the paper is the governance. The governance has very short syllabus but a good importance in the GS2 exam. So in governance, the main thing is definitions. For example, there are various topics like social audit, citizens charter. So in this way, you can give them some basic definitions in the introduction itself. So if you write about citizen charter, you can give the definition and make a small diagram. of the three: time, quality, and element of the good governance. So in the governance part, you can give the basic definitions of the social audit, citizens charter, and you can give some recommendations. For example, there is second ARC recommendations, and there is Sevottam model, which is very commonly used in answers, and it will enhance the quality of the answer and the content of the answer. So you can give the second ARC recommendations. You can give the Niti Aayog definitions. Niti Aayog has given very good definition of good governance. So you can give the good governance definition for the Niti Aayog. So in this way, you can use recommendations and various recommendations, various definitions, and some basic elements of the syllabus topics that are mentioned in the syllabus itself. For example, social audit, citizens charter, NGOs, then voluntary organizations. So you can use some examples and write them in the answers. The third part is the social justice. In the social justice, the important elements are issues regarding women, regarding child, regarding physically disabled, mentally retarded, etc. So in this, you have to go through with recent examples. So you can give a good introduction to the topic itself. For example, there is a question on women and women issues. So you can give a data or recent example of some good example of a woman leading in a field or women empowerment. You can give some example or data or any anecdote, any small story in the introduction, and then you can explain the main issue itself in the body and a good futuristic and positive conclusion. In this, you can give some quote. For example, there is quote by Mahatma Gandhi, there is quote by some philosophers regarding the women empowerment, regarding the child importance example. So in this way, you can give some quote in the conclusion and give a hope regarding the empowerment, regarding the upliftment, regarding the social justice itself. Also try to include the DPSPs and fundamental rights in the answer. So if you use DPSPs and fundamental right in the answer, it shows that our constitution holds the value to give importance to each and every section of society. So in this way, the social justice answers can be improved. Then the fourth part is international relations. The international relations always used to have 3 to 4 questions, 2 15 markers and 2 10 markers. So it holds a very good importance in the mains answer writing. In the international relations, there are few elements by which you can improve the answer writing of this exam. First of all, you should be making a good diagram if it is possible. For example, there is Israel-Palestine question. Then you can make a small diagram of the Israel-Palestine to show the normal geography of the Israel-Palestine. In this way, some normal sketch can be made. Secondly, there can be some quotes. In international relations, there are various topics, various relations where the quotes are given by various philosophers, our external affairs minister, there are various secretaries and various IR experts who give quotes regarding the relationship between India and other countries. So those quotes can be noted down and can be given in the intro or the conclusion. So in this way, the answer can be enriched. Thirdly, try to keep a positive approach. In each and every relationship, try to find the positive angle as well as some negative elements. For example, the positive elements can be good trade, good culture, cultural relations, and good economic relations. Economic, military. So these relations can be good. Exercises are done between countries. And in negative, you can show some concerns like there is terrorism, there is issues of trade deficit, there is issues of OBOR, which you can bring up in the China relationship questions, and etc. So in this way, some positives and some negatives can be brought up in the similar situations and similar relationships. If you include both positive and negative, the answer looks complete. So if the element is like discuss the relationship between India and China, so you can give some positive angles like there is cultural, there is Indian diaspora present in China, there are some research-based links between India and China, and some negatives can be there. For example, there is boundary issues and there is some OBOR, One Belt, One Road initiatives and debt trap diplomacy, which is China is being doing. So in this way, the both positives and negative can be brought up in the answer itself. Try to bring out what is asked first and then give a short element of what is not asked. For example, it is usually the statement based. A statement will be given between India and China and then element will be discussed. So then you will start discussing by the positives of that statement, and then you will give the negative of the statement in the same answer and a hopeful and positive conclusion, like what can be done to improve the relationship and what more efforts are needed. So in that way you can conclude the answer. So in this way the IR can be handled with diagrams, some quotes, and both positive and negative angle with a futuristic and hopeful conclusion. So try to keep note of this. For example, in quotes there is India-Nepal relationship, and it is the commonly used quote is Roti Beti Ka Rishta. So in this way you can enhance your answers. Try to include the external affairs minister debates or the wordings that he says, or our prime minister, the wording he says for every country, that can be included directly. Also try to include some current affairs from newspapers and some current affairs resources to include the latest trends in the relationship, the latest values and latest data and the latest controversies regarding the relationship. So this was a basic about the GS2 paper, about how to approach various subjects differently and how you can improve the introduction and conclusion in these areas. Thank you so much.